Hey everybody, it's Ron from Pick Dawgz, and this is Ron's Bank Shop Breakdown. We're going to go over 5 college basketball games for Wednesday, January 1st, 2025. Happy New Year to everyone. Hope you enjoyed your New Year's Eve, and thank you for your support for another year here at the Pick Dawgz YouTube channel with the Bank Shop Breakdown and Ron's Rundown in the summer. Now, if you like this video, make sure to hit that thumbs up button and subscribe. Put your college basketball picks in the comments section below. And if you're looking for my best bets, the games I love the most in college hoops and other sports, I got my college football play of the week, one of my favorite plays of the college football season so far. You can find those all at Pick Dawgz Premium. Alrighty, here we go. Here are the games for the Wednesday card in college basketball. First up, it's Furman and Western Carolina. This one is going to be 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Now, Furman's off to a great start this season. They're 12-1 straight up, and they've benefited from a few games against inferior opponents, subdivision opponents below Division I, but they've also had some nice wins against teams like Belmont, Jacksonville, Tulane. Their one big step-up game, the toughest game on their schedule thus far, was at Kansas, and that was a game where they just really did not compete at all. 86-51 loss in that one. For me, I think Furman's a good team, but I do think because of that record and because of this current win streak, they are a little bit overvalued compared to Western Carolina, who has struggled this year, has that losing record at 4-7 with 3 of those 4 wins against subdivision teams, so they've really struggled in D1 competition. However, they played a very tough schedule, a lot of true road games and a lot of games against tough teams like Wake Forest, Florida State, Marquette, and Tennessee most recently on December 17th. Western Carolina's got the 37th toughest schedule in Division I, and I don't love this offense, but I will say I think their defense is actually quite decent in terms of a mid-major school or a team in the Southern Conference. They're a good defensive rebounding team. They're able to force some turnovers. They're an aggressive defense. They're going to force those turnovers, and they'll force some tough shots. And the big thing against Furman is you got to be able to defend the perimeter. They're a good three-point shooting team, but Western Carolina not too bad at defending the three-point shot. I think Western Carolina competes in this game, and I don't know if they win it outright, but I'm going to take the points with the Catamounts. I think it's going to be a close one. Next up, we have Yukon and DePaul. This one is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern on CBS Sports Network. Now, rarely I take teams on big win streaks like this with Yukon on a 6-game win streak. Some of the wins along the way over Baylor, Texas, Gonzaga, Xavier, and Butler to start conference play. While these teams are playing well, usually when they're on a run like this, in a spot like this, they're a little bit overvalued, and especially a team like Yukon that's won back-to-back national championships. For me, you could definitely argue that maybe you're not getting the best price that you could get with Yukon in this situation. But for me, it's a straight fade of DePaul in Big East play until we see anything different from this team, from this program. We've seen it the last few seasons, and we've seen it where they've had nice runs in non-conference play, like this year, 7-0 record in non-conference play to start. Once they step it up in competition, whether it's tough games in non-con play or Big East competition, they fold. We saw it against Texas Tech in a double-digit loss. They lost to Providence in overtime, lost by 28 points against St. John's on the road, and even Northwestern on the road by 20 points, 84-64. Until we see DePaul compete against some of the better teams on their schedule, I gotta fade them in a game like this. And honestly, while it may not be the best price, it's still a decent price for a Yukon team that last year, we got to remember, it was definitely a better Yukon team last year, but they beat DePaul 85-56 and 101-65. Give me Yukon in this one. I'm going to lay the points. Next up, we have Cal and Pittsburgh. This one is going to be 2 p.m. Eastern on the ACC network. Early in the season, I mentioned I think Pittsburgh is a team to watch out for in the ACC, and I still like this team overall, but I think Cal, on the other side, is right now underrated and undervalued, coming off a blowout loss against San Diego State. That was an ugly game. Cal just could not do anything offensively in that ball game, but I still think from a shot quality perspective, Cal is a solid team. Fundamentally, a good rebounding team. They get to the free throw line. They're a solid free throw shooting team. I'm not ready to give up on Cal just because their defense to start the year has struggled at times, and their offense has, the last game against San Diego State, they shot sub 30% from both 2-point and 3-point range, but it was an off-shooting night. I still thought that they played quite well in the first half of that game. They were able to force 13 turnovers, and I think now they're catching so many points here on the road. I know it's a true road game, but I don't think Pittsburgh is good enough to be laying this many points in a conference matchup. So I think Cal keeps this one within single digits. Probably an 8 or 9 point Pittsburgh win, but give me the points here with the Cal Bears. Next up, we have Rice and Tulsa in the AAC. This one is 3 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. This is a matchup between two teams opening their conference schedule, and they've played very weak non-conference schedules thus far. Rice is 354th in strength of schedule. Tulsa is 356th. Rice has the winning record at 9-4 straight up, while Tulsa actually has a losing record at 6-7. But I think Tulsa's been a little bit unlucky this year. Offensively, they're ranked 248th in adjusted offensive efficiency, but they're creating pretty good looks offensively, good shot quality. They're doing a pretty good job of taking care of the basketball. A decent offensive rebounding team that gets to the free throw line. They've struggled to shoot the basketball from both the free throw line and the perimeter. They're ranked 304 in the country in three-point shooting. But like I said, I think they're creating pretty good looks on the offensive side. The defense has held up quite well. And now they're playing at home, and we're getting a good price with the Golden Hurricane, who I think are the better team in this game. You give credit to Rice for some of their wins at the beginning of their non-conference schedule, but down the stretch, I mean, they just lost to a subdivision team in UNT Dallas. It was a 1-point loss, but that was a pretty miserable loss to take. Definitely the worst loss that either team has taken this season. And I think on the road here, Rice just not good enough. I think Tulsa, we're catching them at a really good time and a really good price. So give me Tulsa in this one. Next up, Evansville and Southern Illinois. This one, 2 p.m. Eastern on ESPN+. Evansville we took on Sunday on the morning show, on the Pickdawgz morning show, and they were a dog. They won that game outright 57-40 over Missouri State. And while, that was a great defensive showing from the Purple Aces, I'm actually on the other side in this game. I think Evansville's better than their current record. I think they're better than their current KenPom rating, but I think the same thing goes for Southern Illinois, and to a greater extent. I mean, the Salukis have played a tough non-conference schedule, and you look at their losses this year, really no bad losses. I mean, you could say Eastern Kentucky is a winnable game at a neutral site, but it was a 5-point loss to a decent team that just competed with Louisville. Their other losses were to Charleston, Oklahoma State, Florida, Louisiana Tech in overtime, Bradley, High Point, and Northern Iowa. Really no bad losses, really good mid-major schools and a couple of power schools. I think the Salukis are battle-tested. I think they're the better team. I think they're underrated, and we're getting them at a great price because their 2-game losing streak and the Evansville, blowout win as a dog in their last game. Give me Southern Illinois in this one. I'm laying the points. And that's it. Those are the games for Wednesday in college hoops. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe and put those college basketball picks in the comment section below. Again, if you're looking for my best bets and looking for that college football play of the week, you can find those at the premium picks tab at pickdawgz.com. There's also a link in the description. As always, this is Romanelli. Good luck.